Yeah, third video going strong. I got my fan. I love my fan. Oh, my fan. It's just so cool, fan. If you haven't seen the video about Yu-Gi-Oh, which was the first one, you click on this bit of the sign here, this half. And then if you've already seen the first video, but you've accidentally come to the third video and you need to see the second video, click on this second half of the board. And then there'll be a magical transport board, which takes you to anywhere you want in the entire YouTube page, which is my page. I like technical theatre now. Technical theatre is like lighting and sound, and stagecraft, and props, and staging, and there's a lot of things. Basically, everything that is not the actor, and not the text. It is the space that they're in, it is the light they're in, it's the sound you can hear, it's the clothes that they wear, and it's the things that they use, and the things they stand on, the stage that they're on, the set they're in front of. It's everything around them. I particularly like lighting. I quite like lighting design for theatre. I lighting design for like events and other stuff's fun too, but theatre lighting design is really interesting. There's three kinds. That's not three! I can't seem to do numbers with fingers anymore! What is going on? There's three kinds of lighting. The first is lighting to see. This is what the director wants, basically. If you want to light something so you can see it, it's usually considered a warm wash, because having the lights open, it leaves them a bit sharp, a bit cold, like a warm wash, and it would make it make the actors look more tan, make it look like they're outside, perhaps. It would change the space, it would change how things look and feel. If you made it like a very, very pale blue, it would make it look very sharp. Particularly, it would make the very stark, it would wash all the colour out of the clothing, it would make someone look very intimidating, perhaps. Or it could make someone look very scared, or once again just a light without emotion. And that's lighting to see, basically. Generally, cold, warm wash is all we really need. And then lighting to imitate. Now, lighting to imitate is probably one of the more interesting things. Lighting to imitate is to imitate a certain source of light. For instance, the warm wash is usually to imitate a daytime, but it can also be just lighting to see, so you can see it. But you can also imitate moonlight if you position lights so that you maybe have one light which is in pale and it casts across the stage and catches the whole stage. You probably have some infill somewhere as well, but you can have that to imitate moonlight, or you could have firelight. You could perhaps get a couple of different colours of red and put them in some like smaller lights and put them on stage, or cover them up somewhere, or perhaps if you wanted to have the fire ambiguously off stage, like if there was a house on fire, you could have like some different hues of red or some amber and have them fade in and out intermittently, so that it looks like dancing flames. Or you could have a forest scene, is probably one of my favourite ones, which I learned when I spoke to a lighting designer in Scarborough. If you have some what's known as dapple, which is like some forest breakup, which makes it look like light through trees. You have the lantern quite sharp, which makes the outline of the light look really so you can see the fine edge opposed to it being fuzzy. And then throw some green over it, maybe a bit of brown, a couple of other dapple, some green dapple, some pale dapple. It will look like light through trees. Maybe make it just a little bit blurred in some places. That's lighting to imitate a scene which you've got in your mind, or which the director is interested in. Recently when I saw Les Miserables, they had a piece of lighting which I didn't find that impressive. It was lighting to imitate a window, and it's pretty simple to imitate a window, isn't it? I would expect. They had one gobo to represent the window on the wall, and then another gobo to represent the light coming through the window, hitting the ground, which is, yeah, that's fair enough. Except on a flat wall, they had the gobo at an angle to look like their wall that they were projecting it onto was at a different angle, and then they had the light coming through it at an opposite angle to make it look like this window was in the corner of the room, but it was on the flat back of a stage. So it didn't look like a window in the corner of a room. It looked like they'd put a couple of gobos on the back of the stage. Maybe it was just me picking up on that because I'm more technically minded than most of the people in the audience, but it just fell flat for me. And what would have been so much better is if they'd put the window gobo flat on the back of the stage to represent the window, and then had the other gobo come from behind upstage and then cast across the stage. So it would be interacting with the people on the stage, and it would be a little bit of backlight, so it would look like there's some window light coming through and hitting the back of the actors. It would just make it look so much better. And this is in the London West End. This is where they get paid tons to do it. But also an important part of doing lighting is knowing the amount of power that you use for the lighting, what kind of lights you use, the type of bulb, the type of lantern, how can you focus it, how can you position it, how can you hang it, what kind of fittings you can have it, if you can have gobos in it, which are the things that I spoke about earlier with Dapple, the leafy breakup that you have where you can change the shape of the light, what colour that you use. The third kind of lighting is lighting for symbolism. Now this is a bit more ambiguous in the way that it's used, and it's not used as frequently, and I don't really get to use it personally because I work with a lot of am-dram, and if I'm working with someone big enough, there's generally already another lighting designer, which is a shame because I'd like to do a big lighting design. I did a big lighting design recently, and I used a bit of lighting for symbolism. In Macbeth I used some red and some green at particular times to just catch the actors in a certain way, to show guilt or to show anger or to show the witch's effect on the people, how they're affected and what they feel. They're just running themes. Themes helps a lot if you use a particular colour for associate a particular feeling, or you could use literally a gobo with shattered glass to represent broken feelings or something like that. It depends what you see as fit for the situation and what the director wants. I think theatre lighting is probably my geeky passion that I'd like to get into in the future. It's my future career, my interest, the thing that I want to do. Lighting for film is quite interesting. I've done that with my friend Chris. And lighting for events is a bit of fun as well. I've done a bit of that. That was some fun. But really lighting for theatre is the thing that I'm most interested in. Actually, by the time you watch this video, I'm probably going up to Edinburgh to do the Edinburgh Fringe. And my next video will either be some sort of filler, or I will be crazy busy in Edinburgh, so I might not be able to make one. Or I will have filmed bits as I go along, and then I'll tack them together before I come back. Although I don't come back until the 18th, so that could be a bit of a problem. We'll see. I'll either have no video, a late video, or a filler video if I get time to make one. Thanks for watching my 3 videos over the Geek Week. I kind of enjoyed participating in the Geek Week. I hope you enjoyed my videos, and I will see you next week.